Hello and welcome back to Covering Coven, a show dedicated to discussing last night's episode of American Horror Story Coven. I'm your moderator, Perri Nemiroff, and here are our panelists.
Hi, I'm Alexis Saarela.
Hey, I'm Allison Ullrich.
Hi, I'm Megg Hochbaum. Hello, I'm Sasha Capelli.
So we are closing in on the end of the season, so it should be no surprise that episode 12, Go to Hell, focused quite a bit on the search for the new Supreme. We've got Queenie summoning Papa Legba so she can track down the missing Marie Laveau, and then Cordelia is busy putting her regained second sight to use so she can try to ensure that the Coven carries on after Fiona's reign comes to an end. But before we get to any of that, at the start of this episode, we finally get the chance to learn about what the Seven Wonders are all about. So, Meg, how do you feel about the way that they approach that?
I was kind of worried that, they wouldn't really explain it and they would just kind of like show them doing it in some kind of like cyclical thing and like a step-by-step. And instead they did the nod to the historic, which I love that they do in this show. And they had like the sort of dorky like silent film thing, which was black and white, had the title cards and everything. So I thought that was a really nice way of doing it because it explained it and it was creepy and weird, but not necessarily overdone. So I appreciated it.
I'll admit, I had to watch it twice in order to take it all in and actually figure out what every single thing meant. But it was a nice visual technique. And also, in the end, I really liked the transition from the black and white when they kind of let the light fall onto Fiona at the end.
Yeah.
For some reason, that really stuck with me.
Yeah. One thing, what they're calling transmutation seems actually to be like transportation, or like from Harry Potter anyway, changing something. I don't know. I had a quibble with that.
Well, transmutation would be like changing into like, I don't know, an animal, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I was looking for, and then she just poofed.
And later when Madison did it, she was like, I transmuted. And it was like, no, you didn't.
No, you just moved.
All right, so at this point, we've got quite a few main characters who have passed or are hanging out in Papa Leg world for all eternity. Allison, do you really think that this is the end for Marie, Delphine, and Fiona?
I do. I mean, to have them come back with they're in hell. And I think Fiona, I think she's dead. I think these people are finally dead and they cannot be brought back. Like when Misty said, I can't bring back somebody once they're gator shit, I think they're done.
I think we're going to see at least Fiona's ghost.
Yeah, I feel like Fiona, only because we didn't see her, not only, but also because it's American Horror Story, but like, we never see Fiona in hell, even though she got fed to the gators. Like, we see, I think Marie and what's her name are probably in hell. I think they wrapped up their storyline pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think Fiona's coming back, and I think she might come back with some serious vengeance because, like, we didn't see her dead, and we didn't see her in hell. So
that's a good point. If there's anything I learned from watching soap operas with my mom from like day one, if you don't see them their actual dead body, they can come back. Whenever.
Queenie's the perfect example of that right now. She just popped right back up there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's not gonna make any sense for them to bring them all back, but I just don't think that the people behind the show can help themselves. There is no way that season finale is not going to include the three of them, if not Nan too. I really wouldn't be surprised because we also saw Spalding again. I mean, they're coming back.
They're all At the very least, Fiona. I mean,
and also Fiona doesn't have a soul, so Papa Legba doesn't want her in his realm. So maybe she's going to be walking the earth
forever.
Maybe they'll come back at the end of the Seven Wonders as these like big ghosts that appear over everybody, and they're like, "Oh, great, our coven's moving on, fantastic." But that would be really cheesy.
Yeah. If all three of them are on like the same plane, like what's to say they can't work together
on another plane,
some, like witchy voodoo-ness and pop back up?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, American Horror Story just can't have a season finale without Jessica Lange. Like, I won't believe it. She's gonna be there for. I mean, because like last night was like a big Jessica Lange. I mean, not really, but like just the angles on her face, and she looked beautiful last night. And the whole episode, it was like, here she is in all her glory. So I feel like it was a nice tribute, but she's definitely gonna be back.
Yeah.
So now we've also got a bunch of characters who are still technically living, but of course the events of next week's episode could just take them all down for all we know. Alexis, what do you think? Who's coming out of the Seven Wonders alive?
Wow, well, it's a good question. We saw in Cordelia's first vision, all of them dead and Fiona living, and so now it's the question is, by taking Fiona out of the picture, does it change that vision so much? Are they all going to live through it? And I don't know. I mean, they've said, there was that great quote from Fiona at the beginning when she said to Queenie, "You're going to try the 7 wonders or die trying." So, like, it makes it seem like there's some stakes there. Like, it's a difficult test. And they all want it now. Like, even Zoe came back and was all, I'm the new Supreme. Just because she brought that guy back from the dead. But I love, the best change I loved was Cordelia's new attitude and her, like, in charge, blind and in charge lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though, in that vision, I don't think we saw them all dead. Like,
no.
Myrtle definitely wasn't dead.
Oh, you're right.
Myrtle wasn't dead.
Myrtle wasn't there. And Kyle wasn't in it either.
Kyle wasn't dead. And I don't know if I'm making this up or if it has anything to do with anything. Probably not. But did Cordelia ever see in the future? Didn't she just see past? Like, didn't she just see, like, past murders and stuff like that?
She did. She never did see the future.
She didn't see the future. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it was, like, accurate but a little inaccurate. Like, there might be something off, and she doesn't know how everybody died. She doesn't know Fiona, like she had a bullet through her head, like, and Fiona didn't have a gun.
It's a 7 wonder examination.
Yeah.
Now that one's accounted for.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we're going to bring back our memorable quote section for Go to Hell, because in true American Horror Story fashion, there was loads of sass and humor amidst all of this witchcraft and carnage. My pick is going to Papa Legba for his exchange with Delphine in Hell. Papa Legba tells her, I'm going to try to imitate this, it's going to be miserable. He goes, you will spend all of eternity here, and then, in his creepy voice, in my room. And she just like dribbles out in response, my room. And it's like she's got that last little bit of fight in her, and it does no good, and he just shuts her down and kind of makes fun of her by playfully saying, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. I mean, Delphine just hits rock bottom at that moment. I know all of you guys have some great quotes. So, Sasha, let's start with you. What do you got?
Well, I actually have a couple. I loved when Queenie responds to Delphine when she's like, I don't want to die, and she's like, tough shit, who does? Because, like, the whole series is about, like, these chicks who just want to be immortal and or become the Supreme to probably be immortal at some point. And then I loved the Axeman quote when he's like, just because you can open doors with your hocus pocus doesn't mean it's polite. Because, like, it is kind of rude for them to be, like, busting in wherever they are. And, like, I also really liked one other quote that I'm trying to remember the best way. It was from Cordelia, and she was it was like when she had her second sight, and the gist was it was like it was when her and Queenie were at the grave or whatever, and Queenie was afraid. I really liked that, like when Cordelia was just like, get your shit together, we're gonna do this. So I like the badass quotes of the night.
I was like, don't take this so literally. And she's like, remember who you are.
Yeah,
that was my quote.
Like, be a jackhammer and bust her out. All right, Meg, what you got?
Well, that was my quote. The one when she
sorry.
no, it's cool. She goes, stop being so literal and remember who you are.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a nod to like exactly what the show is about and everything. Like when there's a wall, or when other people see a wall, witches see a window. So that was great. And then the other one, when they show in the preview for the week before and the X-Men's busting in, he's like, you're going to pay for what you did. And I thought it was going to be something intense. All of them are just like, you walked into the wrong house. That was perfect nod to like wrapping everything up with him.
All right, Allison, you're up.
So I kind of mentioned it earlier, but one of my favorite moments was when Missy was just badass this entire episode. And she, she used to be so like this nice, helpful hippie chick. And she goes, well, that's it. I can't bring someone back once they're gator shit. I thought that was great. And then the very beginning, a quote that just made me go, oh God, really? Was when that Axeman says to Cordelia, a man shouldn't be disturbed when he's playing his instrument. I was like, oh God.
That is so typical American Horror Story. All right, Alexis, you want to bring us home?
Yeah, I had two, and they were both from Myrtle, who I love. The first was when Zoe came back, and she said, oh, you're just like Halston selling his line to J.C. Penney, forsaking your destiny, because that was just so funny. And then later when they were talking about whether or not to kill the Axeman, and Madison was like, well, he's a psycho murderer, and she said, who amongst us is not? Or who amongst us cannot say the same? Because, yeah, they're all at this point, they've all committed a lot of bad stuff.
All right, so now we've hit rapid fire time, the time when we get to discuss what we're hoping for in the episode to come. And next week, it's a big one, episode 13, the season finale. I am going broad this time around, and I just have my fingers crossed for fulfilling and justifiable conclusions for these characters. But no problem letting loose and just having fun with this outrageous scenario that goes down on the show. But this is it, and I'm not going to leave satisfied unless there's a sensible payoff to a degree. Who lives, who dies, who ends up the Supreme, it won't matter. Just make sure you earn it. That's all I'm asking for. Alexis, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see who comes out on top, or if perhaps they decide to work together in a democracy of Covenness.
All right, Allison, what about you?
I'm with Alexis on that. I mean, what's it going to be? Is one just going to come out and prevail, or are they all just going to save it, and it's just going to be this one unified Coven now?
Meg, what you got?
Back to my beloved beginning here, they had a card I'm reading into too much where they said it's guided by ancient tradition, which is survive only if united under a strong single authority. So I figure that's got to be a hint to either like somebody comes out of this, or do they all die because they can't survive without one leader.
That's sad. But Sasha, what about you?
No, but I do like that idea. I mean, just seeing like when the Axeman came into the house and all of them just put their hands up, like that was an amazing just unifying shot. So if a lot of the season finale can be them just being a badass Coven working together for whatever reason, I think that would be a cool thing to see. So I'm kind of also gunning for them to be like a witch democracy too.
So that's a wrap on this episode. You definitely don't want to miss our discussion on the season finale next week. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Shock Till You Drop, and come back and join us to talk about the big finale. And as always, use the comment section below to let us know what you thought of Go to Hell, and also what you're thinking could go down in the season finale. How about let's throw out who you think is going to be the next Supreme, and maybe we'll discuss your thoughts on next week's show. So thanks for covering Coven with us. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.